And you may feel weak today, and that's okay. And it's okay to recognize that. But what might look like weakness to you, to the people around you, it looks like strength.
Welcome to Grief City. And remember, if this is your first visit, you are not alone.
Hello, and welcome to the Grief City podcast. I am Nuella, and I am so grateful to have you here today. In today's episode, I want to touch on something that it might ruffle some feathers. I am not a feather ruffler. Naturally, I am like peacemaker. Let's keep it calm and let's not get anyone upset. But that just comes out of my own self-esteem issues of trying to please people and trying to not, or I guess I should say, make sure people like me. But this is a topic that has been on my brain a lot, like the last year and a half. And I feel like I need to just talk about it. We're going to ruffle some feathers today. Let's freaking go. So today I want to talk about the phrase, "You're so strong." This is a really common phrase that a lot of people who have navigated loss have probably heard at one time or another. And I have most certainly said this to people in the past before I lost my dad. Now, knowing how a lot of grievers feel about that phrase, now I would not say it to anyone. But, like 2.5 years in to my grief journey, I started feeling differently about this phrase. For a while, I felt frustrated about it. And I felt like, how dare you say I'm strong? You don't even know how weak I am. Like, I never had a choice in the matter. Like, this is so frustrating, which all of it's valid for sure. But I now have taken on a totally new look at that phrase. And I feel very differently about it now. And instead of it being something that frustrates me and makes me feel like garbage and like I'm misunderstood or something, it's something that actually I take and receive as a compliment. And I take as something that, shows my resilience as a human. When I lost my dad, every single day I felt unmotivated and stuck. Sing text helped me gently move forward, and it gave me a small sense of purpose each day. Singing has always been therapeutic for me, but after loss, it became essential for my mental well-being. Getting a daily text with my guided vocal training reminded me to take 15 minutes to do something good for myself. SingText is my company, and it's also what makes this podcast possible. If you love singing and you want support for your voice and you want that creative outlet in your grief, SingText is here for you. Try it with a 14-day pass for $5 at singtextofficial.com. See how your voice feels and see how singing can support your healing. So why do people get so frustrated about this phrase? Well, there's a lot of people online that will post memes about it or different infographics, carousels, different things like that. And there certainly are, I'm not going to downplay this. There are definitely phrases that you should just not say to a griever. But this is one of those ones that I think it's kind of been blown out of proportion. Maybe that's the word for it. But if you are a part of any grief pages, like you follow anyone online, you've probably seen this a lot. And the comments are usually flooded with people saying, like, I hate when people say that, like, everything I just said, why I hated it, because I feel so weak, or like, I didn't have a choice in the matter, like, all this stuff. And like I said, valid, absolutely valid. But about 2.5 years in after losing my dad, I started feeling different. And granted, my heart had started to heal more. So I think when your heart heals a little bit more, you can shift your perspective a little bit. So I think that definitely played a role. And like I said, I won't say this to anyone in the future, but I take it as a compliment. I don't think we grievers like give ourselves enough credit. I think I don't know what some people think like the definition of strength is, but I feel like a griever is literally the definition of strength and resilience. I can't really think of anything better than that. When you are in the heaps of grief and you are feeling the weight really heavy, I remember there were so many days like I just wanted to lay in bed, eat my feelings, and try to go to sleep. I didn't want to contribute to life. I didn't want to get dressed. I didn't want to brush my teeth. I didn't want to put makeup on. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to be recluse and just drown in my sorrow. And some days, like, I wallowed in that a little longer than others for sure. And I think that's healthy. Like, you need to feel those emotions and feel the weight of them. But each day, I still got up. I still showed up to do the tasks that I needed to do that day. I still showed up. I was teaching a lot of voice lessons online at the time. I still showed up and I taught my voice lessons despite like wanting to do nothing more than just laying in my bed and just feeling the weight of the grief and feeling horrible. And some people say, well, I don't have a choice in the matter. But you do. I could have laid in bed all day, but it would have led to, I losing clients, like probably losing my marriage and so many other things. So I chose each day, despite feeling horrible, to get up and to try to contribute to life. There's so many days I thought my grief was going to take me out. Like, I thought it would never end. The cycle would never end of just feeling utter depression every single day. But I still would get up and make the choice to show up. Even if it was just like brushing my teeth that day. To me, that is the definition of strength. It's showing up when all the odds are against you, is contributing to life despite feeling absolutely atrocious and wanting to do nothing other than bury your head in a pillow and cry the rest of the day. I think that is such a display of strength and resilience. And I believe that grievers are the strongest people that I know because they have had so much shit thrown at them, so much. And no one ever, we all know that we're going to go through loss at some point, but when it happens, we're never ready for it. Nothing can ever prepare you for it. But when I see grievers like have so much crap thrown at them and so much heartache thrown at them, and they still wake up each day trying to make a life for themselves, trying to find joy again, or trying to contribute to their family and society. That is strength to me. So, like I said, like 2.5 years in, I started redefining what strength was. And it started giving me some more confidence and it started helping me to heal more because I began realizing, like, wow, I have come so far. I am so proud of how I kept showing up to life every single day, even though I really didn't want to. And I really just wanted to let grief take me out. Like, I'm so proud of my strength and my resilience as a human. And to this day, like, I still don't even I don't feel like I give myself enough credit most days. But I have these moments, these epiphany moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, that could have made you such a cold hearted person. Everything that happened to you, you could have lost trust in everyone. You could have decided, like, l- finding joy and happiness and love again is just not worth it because life is just tainted. Everything's gonna die. Everyone I know is gonna die. Bad things happen to me, yada, yada, yada. But I chose to believe and hope again. And I chose to keep trying to find the goodness in life again. And to me, that is strength through and through. That is absolutely strength. And looking back on life after loss, like, I'm just so proud of the strength inside of me. I remember at my dad's memorial service, I so we had a time of like worship, singing worship songs. And I felt very weak. Like, there was not an ounce of me that felt strong by any means. But like, when I look back on it and think about that day, like, I got up on that stage and I sang like 3 worship songs and gave it everything within me. And to me, it was just such a beautiful display of strength. It's it's like that strength and weakness. It is so powerful to see. And you may feel weak today, and that's okay. And it's okay to recognize that. But what might look like weakness to you, to the people around you, it looks like strength. Because until you're in loss, until you're experiencing a deep loss in your life, like, when you see that in others, you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I could ever do that. That's so powerful to see them like wake up each day and still show up to life. It's a really powerful thing to witness. So I guess I get frustrated that there's so much, like, that phrase is like so taboo, and in grieving communities people get so annoyed about it. And that's okay. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, and like I said, I come from a place of I do understand why people feel so frustrated about that at times. But I think it's important we grievers give ourselves more credit and recognize how much resilience we carry, and recognize that even though it is so hard to do most tasks when you are just feeling so much of the weight of your sorrow each day, it is so much strength to even show up to them and do them at all. It takes so much strength. And I just think it's a really beautiful thing. I don't know. Maybe I ruffled too many feathers. But grievers to me are some of the strongest, most resilient people I have ever met and witnessed in my life. And if it takes a long time to recognize that in yourself, that's okay. But I hope one day that you recognize you just doing simple tasks is you being a really strong person, or you're trying to be a really strong person. But to me, that's strength. That's a beautiful thing. And I don't know how to land this plane. Yeah. I just wanted to kind of shed a new light on that phrase. Um, it's really easy to gang up, when you're in a comment thread with people on that phrase, and it's easy to gang up and be like, yeah, yeah, and like cheer each other on in despising the phrase, you're so strong. Because with all these phrases that people will say that are not good or you don't feel like are not helpful to you after you've lost someone, and some of them are extremely insensitive, and I will probably do a whole episode just on things you should absolutely not say or things I heard myself or have heard from others. But people truly do mean well most of the time, I would say. And I think they're just calling something out in you that, you might not feel it, but it's there. And that strength is there. And I think it's just something, instead of taking it as an insult or something really, really insensitive, I think it would be so much more healing to the heart to take it as a compliment and like, wow, that's really cool. They see that in me. I don't see it right now, but that's really kind. So those are my 2 cents. Yeah. All right. We'll talk soon.